Good evening, good evening. Welcome back. Appreciate y'all rejoining, coming back to the channel. How's everybody doing out there? Today is Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. March is flying by. We're about to wrap up the third quarter of the year. And this is like a early week market update, right? Been real quiet so far this week. Well, not really. It's been a lot of volatility, a lot of movement in the markets. A lot of manipulation going on in the markets, especially if you follow the stock market, the futures markets. So it's been a lot going on as far as manipulation of the markets. And I'm seeing a lot of just sentiment out there on, across the World Wide Web. People are bullish, people are bearish. We still got geopolitical events on the rise. Last time I did a live stream, I was letting y'all know we had 48 hours. But the president-in-chief of the United States, he has extended that 48 hours for the next few days. So we're going to get into that. I appreciate y'all joining, man. Make sure y'all smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, right? Click the link in the description. Smash the like button, click the link in the description. Who are we got in here? We got AWB in here. Shout out to you. What's up, Dusty? What's up, Dorelli? What's up, Lenny? Who else we got in here? Make sure y'all do a quick, let me get a quick roll call, right? Let me get a quick roll call. Yeah, the ticker is dope. You said the ticker is dope? Yeah, man. Figuring things out, right? And look, the ticker is live too. So it's like live real time. So if anything crazy happens, you'll get it live right there on the live stream. Right? So it's real time ticker. But make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe, right? We're going to get into the charts. We're going to get into the futures. I feel like being technical tonight. So, if y'all are here for that, we're going to be technical. We're going to go across all the markets because we're following the money, right? We're going to follow the money. If y'all got anything y'all want to look at as well, we can get into it as well. Right? Before I get to the charts, right? Make sure y'all come over here and follow me on X, right? This is my X account, trying to grow the X account. So if you haven't followed me on X, y'all come over here and follow me, right? Y'all can come over here and tap into me with Patreon as well. If y'all want to tap into my private community, y'all come over on Patreon, y'all tap in with me. Let's see. Let's go look at some headlines right quick. A lot of stuff going on, right? A lot of stuff going on. I'm not going to be too much on the headlines tonight. This is about an hour ago. Just in, Shell CEO warns Europe could face fuel shortages as early as next week. So I think our president in the United States, I think he's doing a lot of lying. He's doing a lot of fabricating, right? That war is far from over, right? They lying to us. They really rocking us to sleep so that they can continue to escalate over there. According to multiple U.S. sources, at least 7,000 Marines and up to 3,000 paratroopers are deploying to the Middle East. An unspecified number of special forces, 75th Rangers, Delta Force, 160 SOAR SEALs are also reportedly being deployed. If Trump's talks fail, it looks like he's going to get ready to drop the hammer with boots on the ground. So, yeah, we're not staging those pieces over there for no reason. We're going in. So all that old talks, I don't believe none of that shit, right? You already seen, if y'all been watching the markets, y'all seen the market manipulation. Excuse me. Let's see. I'll come back at some of the other, look at some of this other stuff later. ICE agents patrolling pretty much all major airports around the United States, right? You got a lot of ICE agents patrolling, right? ICE agents patrolling. I don't know if y'all seen them yet, but it seems like we're going into a lockdown. That's just how I feel. I know the TSA, if y'all can pay the ICE, why y'all can't pay TSA, right? Y'all the federal government, right? Y'all spending billions on this war, but whatever, to each his own. But yeah, that's an upgrade from the TSA, putting the ICE agents to do that role. Oil dropped 6% in 15 minutes today from $91 to $86 after news that the U.S. is negotiating a 1-month ceasefire. I think that's bullshit. We're staging, you know, that's all smoke screens. Oil is trying to, if you don't know, oil is an event-based market, so it's purely driven off of events, right? Purely driven off of events. Let's see what else I got. President Trump says Iran has agreed to nuclear weapons, has agreed to no nuclear weapons. So I don't believe nothing Trump is saying. I don't know what to say about that. Again, part of the 82nd Airborne has set to deploy to the Middle East soon, according to the source familiar with the matters. So the 82nd Airborne, the people that jump out the planes, parachutes, with the parachutes, they're deploying over there to the Middle East. They're not deploying them up for no reason, right? What else we got? Backed up airports. Nothing changed so far lately. Nothing really changed lately. We're gonna come back over here in a few. We're gonna get into some of these comedy videos. Check this out. This is the gas station right now, right? These are the gas stations. You might as well upgrade them to Louis Vuitton Petro, right? Louis Vuitton Petro fuel, right? So that's the gas stations right now. Gas still high. There's nothing new there, right? Nothing new there on the gas, right? Nothing new. So that's pretty much the headlines. I'm not going to stay here all night. For high food prices, nothing much has changed too much, right? Nothing's changed too much. So, all right, with that being said, let me tell you, almost 600 billion wiped out of the stock market today. And it was done in 60 minutes. It's probably more. It's probably in the trillions again, but 60 billion wiped out of the market in an hour today, right? So that's another headline. Yeah, man, they sent it up yesterday. Trump tried to do the whole positive sentiment. These markets aren't positive at all. They're not positive at all. They are very bearish. And shelter in place in Texas, right? We had a massive explosion at a Valero refinery in Texas. So that blew up. You know, I don't think that's a coincidence. You know, things happen, right? Things happen. But damn, bad timing, right? We got the Strait of Hormuz blocked. I think Ukraine blew up Russia's top port refinery, right? They blew up their port refinery a few days ago. And that was like, you know, Russia is like one of the leading producers in oil. So with the Strait of Hormuz being blocked off, a lot of global oil has to come from Russia. But here they are, they're getting their shit blown up. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. Right here. Here's the article. Just in, Ukraine strikes Russia's largest oil port, right? They blew it up. That's a satellite image right there. Blew their oil port up. So that can shut down operations. Let me keep scrolling. Again, another images from Texas. So all of these things are happening simultaneously. So I don't think it's random, right? I don't think it's random. Oh, they had a wildfire. You know, wildfires in Nebraska. You know, 900,000 acres burnt in Nebraska, right? So come on now. Why I never heard of Nebraska burning down, but here we are. Let me see. But pretty much that's going to be it for right now. You know, we'll come over here and get some laughs in, joke around a little bit, but I kind of want to get to the markets, right? Let's get to the markets. If y'all just joined, make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. First market I want to look at is let's look at the oil market. Who we got in the building? Let me see what we got in here. What's up, Shep? Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Make sure y'all subscribe, right? Subscribe. All right. So first market I want to look at oil. This is the oil futures market, right? This market right here is an event market. So it's driven by events. So right now oil trading at $87 a barrel. What's up, Dozier? What's up, Dozier? Appreciate you joining, man. What's up? Looking at oil right now, this is the WTI crude oil, you know, and there's another market, which is, I believe, the Brent oil. So I'm not going to pull that up right now, but there's the Brent oil. They're pretty much the same market, but Brent is over there in the European Union. That oil is priced a little bit higher, but the WTI crude oil is currently trading at $87, and it's been volatile. Right now I'm looking at the, let's go down to the monthly. Right, what have we done so far this month? Right, so I'm looking at the monthly candle, and it's been a volatile candle. You said Trump's voice is the pump and dump. We gonna get into that, man. I need to clear up some rumors, right? I need to clear up the rumors. Trump has influence, but he's not that powerful, right? Trump has influence, and they can use Trump, but he's not that powerful. Trump isn't the one making the markets. He's not the one influencing the markets, right? But they're going to use him because he's a public figure, right? What bigger public figure than the former businessman turned president? Well, he's still a businessman, but what bigger figure than the president, Donald Trump, to take the blame for anything manipulation wise, right? So they're using him as a face, and they go in there manually, flip the switch off and on, and they making their money. Everybody's in on it but you, right? Everybody's in on it but you. So these markets are going to continue to be manipulated. What's up, Texas Plates? So oil, I'm just looking at the monthly chart, getting a broader perspective. We got 6 days left in the month of March. 6 days left. Man, year going by fast, and we still here. Thank God. Pray for the world, right? Because I thought for a minute we was gonna get, I thought we weren't gonna make it, too much longer, because shit getting hectic outside. But we still here. God bless, right? 6 days left in the month of March. Oil, when it opened up this month, it opened up at $75 a barrel, and the high was $119 a barrel, almost 120. So right now, oil, what I'm looking at is building in sentiment, right? It's kind of building in that sentiment. It's trying to figure out what the hell, are they going to open up the strait, or is this going to be prolonged? If this conflict over there becomes prolonged, which I think it is, right? Because I believe Iran is dug in. Right? All that shit they telling us in the media, that's bullshit, right? I don't believe in all that, right? They lying. They doing a whole lot of lying. We could just tell they lying by the market manipulation. And then they turn around and tell us, oh, yeah, we're doing good. No, that's what they tell us, right? So I don't go for that. But this is a dealing range, right? This is a monthly time frame. I got a dealing range from this swing low from 2020, April 2020, up to this high right here of February 2022. And if y'all don't think oil, if y'all don't factor this market into your day-to-day, oil is literally in every product right now. Oil is in the phone that you're watching this on. Oil is in the tablet. Oil is in the pen. Oil is in the desk. Oil is literally in everything. So this conflict over there literally shuts the world down, because the dollar is directly pegged to the oil market, right? It's directly pegged. Who we got? Oliver. Did you see Robert Kiyosaki post about the internet cables? You know what? No, I didn't. Oliver, I talked about this in my last live stream. Yeah, they're gonna Iran threatening to hit the cables. Yeah, that would be the Black Swan event. Yeah, I talked about that in my last live stream. That was one of my biggest concerns about the underwater internet cables. If y'all fuck around, listen, this is what's going to happen. America and Trump, they have threatened to attack the power facilities, the power plants that will knock out the entire, not even just Iran, it'll knock out the region. Because, Iran is going to target Saudi Arabia, Qatar. They're going to target all those power plants, even Israel. So imagine that entire region in the dark, right? If y'all don't know, Cuba's in the dark right now. The entire country of Cuba has no power. So we talking about a region that needs power, and they need water and all that. But if we knock out their power facilities, they're going to knock out the internet. It's an eye for eye, right? If we knock out their power facilities, they're going to knock out our, the internet. And if the internet goes down, everything shuts down, because when we talk about global trade, global finance, all that halts, because all that depends on being connected to the internet. So if that goes down, that's your Black Swan event right there, right? Cyber pandemic, whatever. And then it's going to be all hell break loose. We talking about planes can't fly. Everything goes down, right? Everything goes down. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Subscribe. But yeah, this market right here, this oil market, very vital, right? Very vital market. It's very volatile right now. We could go in there and trade it. I don't trade it because the volatility, right? I don't trade it because it's too volatile. Why would you ever touch this market right now? I don't know, unless you're an insider. But let me zoom out one time frame. Let's go out to the 3 month. Going out to the 3 month time frame. All right, so recently we retraced down, we retraced down for the past few years, since like the pandemic years. We traded down, we traded into this down close candle right here. Y'all tell me in the chat if y'all are familiar with my concepts that I do, right? My style of trading, smart money concepts. If you don't know, the markets are algorithmic. They're not random. They're all programmed. They're 100% rigged. But we use that to our advantage because we know beforehand. You might say, well, how the hell, who are you? I'm just an average person, right? I'm not nobody. I'm nobody special, but I've taken and dedicated my time to this craft right here, right? Put a lot into it, and it can show and tell. But these markets, once you see it, they're 100% rigged, but we can anticipate and forecast what it's going to do next. But this candle right here, yes, y'all are right, order block, right? And some of y'all might see bissies in here as well, but I'm going to highlight the order block. And this is a 3 month time frame. So every one of these candles takes 3 months. Every one of these candles take 3 months. So we trade down. A few months ago, we trade down back in 2025. We hit this bullish order block several times. The market is in a discount. So you find a range from premium to discount. I taught that. Talk about it all the time. You can see from this long-term time frame how oil trades down into the discount side of the range, trades down into an order block. Some of y'all might be seeing this BISI right here, which stands for buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. BISI, not SIBI. SIBI is this over here, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. BISI, buy side imbalance. Okay, what does that mean? Well, when the market just shot up, right? If you look at these candles right here, when it shot up, it left an imbalance in price. It was not made efficient, right? So what does the algorithm want to do? An algorithm will want to come back down to it and make it efficient. Boom. It doesn't have to completely fill it, but that's what it wants to do. It wants to make it efficient. Same over here on the left. SIBI, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. So it's lacking inefficiency on the buy side. So when it's sold off, right? When this price sold off, it didn't offer any buying in here. So what the algorithm wants to do, it wants to go in and make some of it efficient. Right? They're offering them, and when they do this process, they're offering themselves entries. They're offering themselves shorts or buy or longs, right? So hopefully you take that in, right? Free game. Again, free game. But yeah, bullish order block, trade down into it, boom, right? Displacement higher. And it did it in like one we dropped down the discount, and then in the 1 or 2 days, this market just shot up, right? It went from $57 a barrel overnight to $120 a barrel, right? So put that in perspective. But you can visually see them offering themselves a discount. But right now, price is just stuck in this range right here. It's stuck in the range. What did it go up and reject? Well, if I zoom in, right, it didn't just go up there and bounce down. Let's look at this wick right here. Zoom in right here. What do I call this wick right here, right? It has several names, but I like to call it something specific, this wick. Well, if I highlight that wick right there on the premium side of the market, it will trade. Yep. Shout out to you, Derelli, Ghost Pool. Make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe, right? Subscribe to the channel. Boom, trades right into that, right? And it trades into the 50% of that. Yep, trades into the 50% of that, right? There's other levels in here. I'm going to save time right now. I'm not going to highlight that. But there's other levels in between as well that price traded into. But it definitely traded into this wick. And if you don't know, you gotta be with me for a little minute. But we trade into that wick and we reject it back down to where we are now. So very volatile market, right? You'll get your face ripped off, right? You probably, if you brand new and never did this, a lot of people was chasing oil and they got their face ripped off. So hey, don't be one of them people, man. Don't be one of them people. Let's go down from the 3 month. Let's go down to the monthly again. And like I said, we got 6 days left in the month of March. And I think us going into the second quarter, which begins in April, I think this continues. It's going to want to come up here and take out the liquidity. If it doesn't, let's just say it sells off for whatever reason, right? Let's say it sells off for whatever reason. Y'all in the chat on the discount side of the range. come back down into the order block. And what is this down here? What are these levels right here that I'm highlighting? But I'm definitely bullish though. I don't think it's coming down because I think they're going to take it all the way. I think they're going to take it all the way. Yes, the rally, sell side liquidity, right? So if they decide to bring it back down, there's sell side liquidity right there. Let me label it right quick. And that's around $54 a barrel. Do they do it? Well, the only way that happens is if they fucking they get this resolution. They pretty much get regime change in the Middle East, right? If they go into Iran and get them to change their regime, that's the only way oil is coming back down to $54 a barrel. But if they don't do that, they don't accomplish that, and Iran decides to fight to the death, then yeah, we're gonna go ahead and come up, and we're gonna visit 129, 140, $150 a barrel, and then we're gonna probably be potentially looking at $200 a barrel. So yeah, it's 50-50 right now, right? It's 50-50 in my book. That's just me speculating. That's just me forecasting, right? Smash that like button. 1 second. Let me view something right quick. One second, good people. 1 second. I gotta adjust something. Gotta adjust something. Like I said, if y'all just joining, make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, follow me on X. All right, I'll come back to that. All right, so that's oil, right? That's oil. Next market I want to look at, let's go ahead and look at the dollar index. Let's go look at the dollar. So everything is kind of quiet right now. It's like a calm before a storm. It's a calm before a storm. So everything is kind of quiet right now. So let me come over to X right quick. I mean, not X, the dollar. So the dollar, world reserve currency. World reserve currency is currently consolidating, right? Let's go out to a 3-month. 3-month time frame for the dollar. It's ambiguous, right? It's ambiguous. We traded up, traded into this SIBI right here, right? SIBI, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency right there, right? That SIBI right there was from 2002. Do you tell me these markets aren't random and they're not coded? If they're not random and not coded, decades in advance, that's what I'm trying to convince y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all. They are programming these markets decades in advance, because if they got shit called Agenda 2030, right? And they're already planning shit out years and decades in advance. What makes you think these markets are already coded years and decades in advance? They're autonomous. These markets are autonomous, right? They can come in and manually intervene and set prices to what they want, but on the day-to-day, they're autonomous. All right, we trade up into this SIBI that they left behind in 2002, right? And we did it in 2022. 20 years later, they return back to a level that they left in price. Is that fucking random? No, I don't think it's random. We drop down, and my concern with the dollar now is these lows in here, right? It's 50-50 with the dollar. It's very ambiguous, right? Very ambiguous. So it's a 50-50 side for me with the dollar, right? It's in a range right now, but these lows are too clean in here for me, and I can see them dropping down and getting those lows. But again, the dollar, the oil market, event driven. This market could come and be simply manipulated by the Fed, right? So if the Fed decides to step in, raise or lower interest rates, this market can go crazy. The dollar, right? So right now, this is a broad perspective with the dollar. It's just consolidating, real quiet in the streets right now, real quiet, right? And we're gonna see here shortly. Let me go down to a monthly. And on the monthly time frame, let me see if I got these pulled up. My quarterly shifts. Yep, quarterly shifts, right? So what I'm doing is right now, I'm gonna look at the past year, right? I'm just looking at the past year. Let me go down to the weekly. And when I go down to the weekly time frame, in the past year, has the market been, for the dollar, has it been bullish or bearish? So what I'm referring to in the past year, I'm looking at each end, not inside, but the end of each one of these vertical trend lines. So this one right here was Matter of fact, do I need to adjust it? 1 second. Let me adjust this. So we're going to start right here. March. We're going to go to March 2025, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. All right, right there. So what I'm doing is I'm referring to a year's worth of price action. I'm referring to the dollar index. Each one of these white trend lines, right, in between them, each one of these represent a quarter. So every 3 months. Every 3 months, right, you're seeing, this is what I'm viewing. This is how I'm viewing the market, but it's a year's worth of perspective. So in the past year, has the market been bearish or bullish? Has the market been bearish or bullish? AWB says consolidating. Yes, consolidating right now. All right, it's consolidating right now, but last year this time the dollar was selling off, right? So do we have a rhyming? Look, we early in the quarter. Last year, first quarter, going into the second quarter, the dollar index sold off. So do we have a repeating pattern about to occur? Yes, y'all are all right. Bearish. Smash that like button, y'all. If y'all just coming in, subscribe. Y'all all are right. It's bearish, right? I mean, cause it's been bearish. So patterns repeat, right? So here we are, same time last year, March, and we already came up so far. We're consolidating though. We came up, took out the previous quarter. Now y'all probably don't hear me talk about that one, right? The previous quarter's high. We came up, took out the previous quarter's high right there. We should know what's above that. They have their orders resting above that, right? If you want to get really fancy, this is a weekly time frame. Come over to the left. What is this in the chat? What is this right here in the chat? This space and price. What do we call that? What do we call that in the chat? Yes, volume imbalance. Volume imbalance. Is that fucking random? Huh? Excuse my language. Is that random? Is that random? Take out the liquidity, previous quarter's high, trade into the volume balance. If you want to get extra fancy, right? If you want to get super fancy, what is this? We're just going to layer on top of it. What is that right there? Right? We're just going to layer over top of that. If we want to get extra technical, right? Yes, Sibby, right? So look how we overlay, right? Look how I'm overlaying these levels, right? Let me give the Sibby a different, let's say lighter. All right, I'm gonna go lighter on that. So we got a volume balance that's sitting inside of a Sibby. And then let's say I take my Fibonacci, right? Let's say I take my Fibonacci tool from the high to Sibby down to the low. Boom, right there. Man, you can't make this shit up right there. You tell me, y'all be the judge, right? You be the judge. When we trade up into and take out liquidity, we trade into the Sibby, we trade into the volume balance. Is it random that we touch this 0.25 level right there? Bing. Is that random? Or is that not algorithmic? Or is it not precision? Bing, just like that. And that was back in March 2020. Or this year. That was this year, this month. Trade up into that. That Sibby was back in 2025. April 2025. So a year later, we return to it, take out liquidity, and now we're starting to slip lower, right? We're starting to slip lower, and there's signs that they're going to want to print money into the economy, right? They're talking about printing money. They are printing money, right? When they print money, they flood the economy with money. We got a new war going on, right? We got a brand new war. So let's turn the money printer on, and inflation is going sky high, right? Inflation is going sky high. With other elements and factors on top of the energy crisis. Yeah, they setting us up, y'all. They setting us up. I'm telling you. So if the dollar starts following, right, I think everything is in trouble, to be honest. I think everything's on the table. But anyway, we'll say that for another discussion. But on this weekly time frame, where do I want to see it go? Where am I looking for the dollar index to reach for? Well, if I zoom in, right, at minimum, y'all in the chat, what is this right here? Smash that like button, subscribe, smash the like if you're learning, because this is an educational channel. You learn it. That's a BISI plus volume and balance. BISI plus volume and balance right there. Somebody said suspension. Nah, not suspension. Not suspension. There's nothing in there. See how the bodies? Look at the bodies, right? Look at the bodies. They're touching. You might not can see it, but they're overlapping, right? So they're touching each other. So it's not a suspension. It's just a fair value gap with a volume imbalance, right? So this is where I kind of want to see dollar trade to, right? And if we trade to this and trade through it, oh Lord, right? If we trade down to this BISI, and we trade through it, we're probably gonna come down, right? We're gonna come down for some low prices, way down here that I highlighted, right? Sell side liquidity, and that's gonna be catastrophic. I don't know what I think it can happen fast, to be honest. I think it can happen fast due to conflict over there in the world, over inflation, all that. So I'm leaning bearish on the dollar long term, but it's neutral, if that makes sense. I'm neutral, meaning if I had to flip a coin, I'm neutral, meaning I don't have a side right now. I can't, it's a hard read. But if I had to lean in one direction, I'm leaning towards bearish prices in the dollar. So whenever we got bearish prices in the dollar, normal conditions, that's a risk on environment. It might not be risk on for stocks. It might be risk on for something like crypto. You never know. You never know, right? So that's the dollar index. How does the dollar index relate with the oil market? I just showed you that, right? I just showed you the relation between the two from a trading perspective, right? These narratives are important. Let's look at the currencies. So I used to trade Forex a lot. Used to trade a lot of Forex when I first started learning technical analysis and trading. And my two primary markets was the euro and the pound. So how does this go? Whatever pair has a dollar at the end of, whatever pair has USD on the end of it, that's the pair that you want to trade, right? So for example, the pound dollar, it'd be GBP USD. So what it's pegged to the dollar, but it's inversely correlated. So if the dollar is strong or weak, we're going to see strength. Let's say the dollar is weak, the US dollar. Let's say the dollar is weak. Then we're going to see strength in the Great British pound, right? We're going to see strength in the pound. Let's look at the euro. If the dollar is weak, we're going to see strength in the euro. And they pretty much mirror each other, right? They're pretty much mirroring each other. You see how the euro sells off? Now let's go look at the dollar. Let me go down to the daily. And the euro is rallying. My bad, I said sold off. But if the euro is rallying, you see the dollar selling off. So if the dollar goes lower, you can see higher prices in the pound. You can see higher prices in the euro, right? But all these markets, all these currencies, they're manipulated, right? So they're fiat, they're made up markets, and we trade them, right? We trade them. You can take advantage of them and trade them. So that's what you're seeing with the euro. I'm not going to do a deep dive. As you can see, I got my markings up because I go in here and practice still at Forex, right? I still go in here and practice. But I marked it up. We trade down. You can see more of my liquidity pools are. Take out liquidity. And now the euro showing strength. Where do I think the euro can go, right? I can see it drawing up to this level right here, taking out buy side liquidity. Some people downplay these currencies, but guess what? You're tethered to the currency. You're not going to be able to afford nothing without the currency, right? So, yeah. Right, you're not going to be able to do nothing without the currencies. You can't pay your bills. You can't pay your mortgage. You can't buy food without the currencies. But guess what? You can speculate on the currencies. You can trade the currencies. So why the fuck not? Why not take advantage of these markets, right? If you just join, make sure you smash the like button. We following the money. We're following the money, right? We're just following it. We're going around the different markets. Let's go take a peek at the crypto markets, right? I'm going to come back later and talk about XRP and Bitcoin, but I'm going to give a broad brush view. A lot of the markets, they're quiet. Crypto is very quiet right now. XRP trading at 142. XLM trading at 17 cents. XDC at 3 pennies. Hedera, H-bar, 9 pennies. Some things are up. Bitcoin, 70,000. Ethereum, 2,100. Quant Network, 76,000. DAG, 0 pennies. Yeah, a lot of shit is air. Boy, that sentiment has changed, boy. A lot of people, I'm seeing more people saying next time I'm pulling the money. I'm taking profit next time. So the sentiment's changed because look what these market makers, they can back us against the wall. You know why? Because they got time. They got a bunch of time. Right? They got billions and trillions in time. Compared to us little people, we don't have the type of time to wait it out like they do. How you gonna tell a billionaire ain't worried about XRP, bro? I'm just tell you now. A millionaire ain't worried about XRP. They probably investing in it, but they not really concerned because they already comfortable. They already content with their life. So the really bunch of time, bunch of money. Yep. But crypto, I still believe in it. I do believe it's the future, right? And it's it might enslave us, but get that bag, You might get enslaved, but get that bag, right? Get that bag, right? Because when this shit goes live, I don't think the world is ever gonna be the same. XLM starting to bounce a little bit though. XLM starting to get a little rally. I see XLM moving, right? Let's go take a peek at XLM. So as I look at XLM, this is a weekly time frame. We dropped down a few weeks ago, trade down, take out this low right here, sell side liquidity. Sell side liquidity right there. Let me highlight that. And they accumulated underneath, right? They accumulated underneath, and now we're about to trade into this area right here. So XLM, 17 cents. I wouldn't be surprised if this shit pop up right quick. I would not be surprised. It's funny how quickly they switch the sentiment around the board, right? It's funny how they can be down on crypto and then the war is about to end and then crypto goes up, so everybody's sentiment changes. It's just a roller coaster, right? Too emotional. But XLM looks like a good price right now to me. Everything is at a good discount, but XLM looks like it's a first mover. All right, looks like it's moving pretty good right now compared to XRP. We got IOTA currently trading at 5 pennies. We got Algorand trading at 8 pennies. Amazing deals for a lot of this stuff. ICP trading at 2.39. We got Sologenic trading at 1 penny. We got Solana trading at $91. Flare Network, Air. And if y'all brand new, whenever I say Air, that means zero, nothing. It's nothing. It's for free. Cardano trading at 26 cents. Chainlink trading at $9.25. Why is Chainlink so goddamn expensive? Huh? Why is Chainlink so expensive? What else I want to look at? Gold, right? Let's look at gold market. Gold bouncing back. Yep. That didn't last long. That did not last long. But gold currently trading at $4,500, right? $4,500. In the past few days or a week or so, it has been trading lower, and to grab what? It's not random. Go out to the weekly. All you gotta do is look to the left of the chart. It drops down, it takes out old lows back from February, old lows back from December, and it trades down right there, right into that level right there. Let me highlight that right there. What is that in the chat? What am I highlighting? Smash that like button, subscribe. Yes, it took out sell side, Shep. After it took out sell side, it went down there and traded into a BISI, right? Boom, just like that. Gold. When it dropped down, it created a low of I missed it, bro. Gold went down to $4,000. Hey, some of y'all might say, "Oh, that's expensive." Not from where it came from. It came from 5,600, so it went down there to 3,900. Right. So that's gold. Let's go down to the daily. It's rallying now after taking out sell side. And let me get a 20-day range on this. So what you want to do is you start on the current day. The 20-day range is continuous. It always shifts every day. There goes a gem for y'all. If you take peeping game, you're gonna write it down. But the 20-day range shifts every day. So I'm gonna start on the current day, go back 20 days, and the current range is from that high right there down to that low. And let's measure that range. Swing high down to this low right there. Are we in premium or discount? Y'all in the chat. Let me get some participation. Huh? Pre-member discount. Shep Dusty discount. Yes, y'all are correct. We're in the discount side of the range for gold, and it's clear as day. Gold is at $4,500. Clear as day, right? And now it's coming up, kind of like XLM. Interesting. Sentiment trying to change in these markets, right? We'll see though over time. Go down to the 4 hour. On the 4 hour time frame, right? I'm looking at a specific range, which would be from this high right here down to this low right here. There are ranges inside of ranges. There are ranges inside of ranges. There are ranges inside of ranges. They're fractal. The market is fractal. So we're currently trading at a premium side of the range, and it's currently trading inside of a SIBI. Sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. So let me highlight that. Well, it traded up to that. No, it didn't. It didn't. It's traded up into this right here. This almost looks like a suspension gap. Nope. So it's a little ambiguous, right? It's a little bit ambiguous, but I'm gonna highlight that right there. We traded through it. So now I probably will wait to see how this candle closes and see if we can form a BISI in here. But right now it's kind of neutral right now, but it's at a discount on the higher time frame. So gold, right? That's gold. Very volatile market. Same with silver. Silver, if you think it's random, it ain't. Why these charts look the exact same? The only thing is they're priced different prices, right? Gold is what it is and silver is priced at what it is. But the algorithm and the code is the same, right? The algorithm and the code is the same. We're decoding this shit. I've been decoding these markets for y'all. Been trying to teach y'all how to decode. But look, we come down, take out a long-term low. This low right here, that's from February. Underneath that low, they got longs in, right? So here silver is at $73. And when it dropped down, it went down to $61. So who was buying at $61? You already know, the institutions. You already know the institutions. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Let me see 1 second. Let's come to YouTube, man. Let's come to YouTube. I want to get some headlines right quick. Get some headlines right quick. Let's go see the update. See what they talking about in the economy today. What they talking about. Looking for some current headlines, right? Current headlines. It's real quiet right now, right? Real quiet. Let's go to filter. Let's go to today. All right, let's play this video right quick. I'm gonna play this video. I'm coming right back. If y'all just joined, make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe.
It looked like the US economy was doing pretty well. Growth kept on coming in above expectations. Inflation kept on coming in below expectations, and the stock market was at an all-time high. Today, that's all changed. Not only has US GDP growth apparently stalled, but inflation has also started ticking up again. And even Trump's allies have started warning that this economy might not be strong enough to cope with a prolonged increase in energy prices. So in this video, we're going to take another look at the US economy and explain why some economists have started warning about the risk of stagflation. On the night of the 2024 US election, Donald Trump told his supporters that God had saved his life for a reason, alluding to the assassination attempt on his life a few months earlier. In the latest issue of Too Long, we explore how faith-fueled populism, from Donald Trump to Vladimir Putin, has slowly been reshaping modern democracy. That's just one of 72 pages in the magazine, because as always, there's more to Too Long than you expect. Purchase your copy by clicking the link in the description. So before we get into it, a quick caveat. In making this video, we're not suggesting the US is necessarily headed for an economic crisis of the same magnitude as the 70s and 80s, which is when the term stagflation, a portmanteau referring to the combination of stagnant economic growth and high inflation, first really entered popular discourse. To give you a sense of how rough that decade was, in both 1975 and 1980, the US experienced a deep recession while headline inflation was running at over 10%. At the moment, things don't look likely to get this bad, largely because the crisis of the 70s was a consequence which suggests the US economy has become less dependent on oil and should thus be less affected by any oil shock. Nor are we suggesting that the US is uniquely exposed to stagflation-related risks. Here in the UK, for instance, things are looking pretty stagflation-y, especially if the ongoing increase in energy costs continues. However, what makes the US somewhat unique is the fact that, unlike in the UK, where stagflation has been on the cards for a while, not too long ago, the US economy looked like it was doing pretty well. The headline GDP figures in the second and third quarters of last year were very good, and whilst it's remained slightly above the Federal Reserve's 2% target, inflation didn't really spike in the way that many people expected it to in the wake of Trump's tariffs, which Trump and his supporters interpreted as proof that Trump was right and that mainstream economists were wrong. In the past couple of weeks, however, this has all changed, with both inflation and growth going very much in the wrong direction. Let's start with inflation. The key thing to understand here is that, in the US, inflation risks were already growing before the war in Iran and the subsequent spike in oil prices. In February, for instance, while CPI, which is the most common measure of inflation, came in at a manageable 2.4%, PCE, which is the Federal Reserve's preferred measure of inflation, came in at 3.1%, well above forecast and the highest since March 2024. Similarly, PPI, which measures inflation experienced by producers at the wholesale level and is usually a pretty good predictor of consumer inflation in the future, came in at 3.9%, the joint highest reading since February 2023. This data supports the theory that, contrary to what Trump and his supporters claim, tariffs are still inflationary. But the reason we didn't see a notable spike in inflation last year is that their inflationary effects were essentially delayed, largely because businesses were able to build up their inventories before the tariffs came into effect, but are now exhausting these stockpiles. Of course, the war in Iran and the associated energy crisis threatens to make this all a lot worse. Brent crude prices, which are the most popular benchmark for global oil prices, have already jumped to over $110 a barrel, roughly double where they were a year ago, largely because the threat of Iranian missiles and drones has deterred commercial ships from transiting the Strait of Hormuz, through which something like 20% of the world's oil usually passes. This increase in Brent crude prices arguably understates the severity of the crisis as well, because Brent crude essentially measures the price of oil being traded in the Brent complex, an oil market based around the North Sea. The Brent complex is a popular and liquid market, which is why it's the world's most popular benchmark, but it's been somewhat insulated from the recent chaos in the Middle East, because there's still some surplus oil floating about to cushion the blow. In Middle Eastern markets, however, where no such buffer exists, oil prices have gone even higher. In Oman, for instance, prices have gone above $170 a barrel, and in Dubai, they've gone above $150. As time goes on, the prices on these different markets should converge, which implies that, unless the Strait of Hormuz is somehow reopened, global oil prices could go a lot higher in the near future. As was made clear the last time energy prices spiked, back after Putin's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, an energy crisis can quickly morph into a more general inflationary crisis. This is essentially because energy is an important input in lots of other industries, which means that higher energy costs translate to higher prices across the board. For instance, energy accounts for a sizable fraction of all input costs in agriculture and manufacturing, which is why higher energy prices usually mean higher prices for food and manufactured goods like cars. This is why, according to Bloomberg data, markets currently expect the headline inflation rate in the US to reach 5.2% this year, up from about 2.3% in December. Again, this could all get a lot worse if normal service through the Strait of Hormuz doesn't resume and oil prices continue to rise.
So you get the idea, inflation is on the up. This takes us onto the other component of stagflation, stagnant economic growth. Again, the US economy was already looking pretty stagnant before the war in Iran. GDP growth fell from an annualized rate of 4.4% in the third quarter of last year to just 1.4% in the fourth quarter, which was then revised down to just 0.7% earlier this month. Revisions to the jobs data have been similarly downbeat, and last week, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell admitted that there has been effectively zero net job creation in the private sector over the past 6 months.
But the thing that I think good number of people on the committee are concerned about is just the very, very low level of job creation. If you adjust what has been the trend job creation over the past, let's say, 6 months, if you adjust that for what we think, our staff thinks, is the overstatement due to overcounting, effectively there's zero net job creation in the private sector.
Again, this could all be made a lot worse by the war in Iran, because higher energy prices generally lead to reduced economic activity by reducing both consumer spending and business investment. A majority of economists polled by the Financial Times, for instance, predicted that oil above $100 a barrel would knock at least 0.25 percentage points off headline GDP growth, while the odds of a US recession in 2026 have jumped from about 20% before the war to over 30% today, according to Polymarket. All in all, while a 70s-style crisis still looks unlikely, it's nonetheless true that the US economy doesn't look particularly well equipped to handle an energy crisis right now. As we mentioned earlier, the latest issue of our magazine, Too Long, is out now, which means that if you order a physical, plus if you subscribe while you're there, you
Okay, I'm back, y'all. I'm back.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only...
In Iran tonight, several new developments here. President Trump says talks with Iran have started, but it comes as the Pentagon now orders up 1,500 soldiers from the 82nd Airborne to the Middle East. And late today, the president at the White House now saying Iran sent a present. Rachel Scott at the White House tonight.
Even as President Trump claims peace talks are underway, tonight the Army is preparing to deploy up to 1,500 troops from the elite 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East to support the war. The president has said he does not plan to put boots on the ground, but the soldiers of the 82nd are trained to parachute behind enemy lines. Their deployment on top of the 4,500 Marines and sailors expected to arrive in the region this week. It comes as President Trump and Iran send clashing messages about whether they're negotiating. Trump insists they are.
The leaders are all gone. Nobody knows who to talk to. But we're actually talking to the right people, and they want to make a deal so badly.
Iran says that is simply not true, that there are no talks, and that Trump's statements are part of efforts to reduce energy prices and buy time for the implementation of his military plans. The president will not say which Iranian leaders the U.S. is talking to.
We have really regime change. You know, this is a change in the regime because the leaders are all very different than the ones that we started off with that created all those problems.
Today, he cryptically noted that he knows Iran is going to make a deal because they just gave the U.S. what he called a very big present.
They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
The White House would not say what exactly that gift is. The president would only say it's related to oil and gas passing through the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian officials still insist there are no negotiations underway with the United States. But tonight, sources tell me the Trump administration has sent over a 15-point peace plan to Iran by way of Pakistan with hopes of ending this war, David.
You'll continue to follow this for us. Rachel, thank you. The U.S. deploying thousands
What y'all
more.
think? What y'all think the president was, y'all? What y'all think the president was? Cause that's some bullshit. Iran, I don't know what to believe at this point. They sent the president over. Okay, yeah. But y'all about to still go invade boots on the ground. So let's come over here. What market I want to look at? Let's come look at what y'all want to look at. Y'all can let me know in the chat. But I'm about to look. I'm gonna start looking at the futures market here in a second. Matter of fact, let's come over here. Let's come over here to the NASDAQ. This is the market I primarily focus on. Dusty, you said they must give us a tanker. Who knows, man? Who knows? So I'm looking at the NASDAQ, right? Over here on the left side of the chart, this is a daily chart, which is a higher time frame chart. You can see it's all marked up with my tools and things that I use because I actively trade this market every day. So let me hide that right there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this up. Let's walk through the manipulation. Let's walk through the manipulation on Monday, right? Monday morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 a.m. on the dime, right? 7 a.m. on the dime. So what you want to do is you want to kind of go down to like a 15-minute time frame. Go down to a 15-minute time frame. And let me hide some of this. Excuse me. Let me hide some of this stuff. If y'all just join to make sure y'all smash that like button. Some people like this analysis. Some people just want to get the news. You know, it's a mix. I'm mainly a TA channel, so that's what I'm going to give. Let's go to 7 o'clock in the morning Monday, right? 7 a.m. Monday. And this is when Donald Trump announced a potential ceasefire, right? This is a 15-minute chart. You tell me if it's random, right? That this candle at 7 a.m. on a dime. Y'all should know what 7 a.m. is if y'all pretty much went through my lessons and y'all watch me. For y'all in the chat that went through it, what is 7 a.m. in the morning? What specific time is 7 o'clock in the morning? Who knows? What time is 7 o'clock in the morning? But at 7 o'clock in the morning, the algorithm was initiated. It went higher, right? Let's go down to a 1 minute. I just want to show you how fast this market was moving during the manipulation, right? And if you was caught off guard, you'd have got your face melted. Would have got your face melted. Dusty, you said macro? Yeah, yeah, Dusty, it's a macro going on around 7 a.m. But 7 a.m. specifically starts the New York AM session on time during the macro, right? On time during the macro. So at 7:05 a.m., this is a 1 minute time frame, right? This is a 1 minute. So you can see the market Monday, just sideways trading, consolidating, high resistance, chopping around. And then at 7 a.m., this one candle, right? This one candle flashes, right? From this low right here up to that high, that one candle in 1 minute, 370 points in the NASDAQ. I don't know if y'all understand how fast that is. Some people caught that. Let's say you was trading one mini contract. So it would be $20 per point. 20 times 371 points. Let's just do 370. In 1 minute, right? Let's say you had one mini contract on, right? 1 minute. I didn't trade this because I didn't see it at the time, but let's just say you had one mini contract, $20 times 370 points. That's $7,400 in 1 minute. Is that not insider information? Who's doing that type of shit? Who's making $7,400 in 1 minute? 1 minute, right? In 2 minutes. Let's just measure how fast it happened in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, from this low up to that high, right there, that's 676 points. So let's just take one little mini contract, 20 times. Let's go round it off to 675. That's $13,500 in 2 minutes. $13,500 in 2 minutes, right? So if that's not some type of manipulation going on, I don't know what to tell you. Now, I don't complain about it. I anticipate it. I know I kind of can sense when the manipulation is going to come into the market for the most part, right? So I missed that, right? I'm not sitting there chasing that. A lot of people went to chasing it, but let's walk back through, right? So when the market was consolidating prior to 7 o'clock in the morning, Monday, it dropped down. Look over to the left. What did it take out? What did it take out? Look over here to the left. Y'all see anything? What do y'all see? Huh? Y'all let me know in the chat. What do y'all see? We dropped down around 649. At 650 macro, the market, boom, goes higher. That candle right there was crazy, right? At 650 in the morning during the macro, first 10 minutes of the hour, last 10 minutes of the hour. Retraces down. Yeah, liquidity, yep. Retraces down, and all of this is in the macro, right? I taught y'all the macros. If you don't know what the macros are, then you'll catch on board at some point. When it retraces back down, it trades into a BISI, right? Buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, right? Retraces down. This could have been your entry point right here inside of this BISI. Now, it would have been difficult this morning. I'm not even going to lie. This would have been a difficult one, but because the manipulation was heavy on this one. But when it trades down, you tell me if it's random. When it trades down into that BISI, it trades down to the 0.75 level. Smart money entry right there, right? Smart money are accumulating. They really was accumulating down here, right? They really got in at the basement of this right here. This is when they was putting their orders down here. They was getting in underneath that low, but if they was adding more to it right here, they added more entries, and then 7 o'clock hits, it does some funny shit, retraces down. When it retraces down, it trades into this small little BISI right there. I don't know if you can see it. Small little BISI. You tell me if that's random. Because it ain't freaking random. They're all over the chart right there. Right? That's their last effort to get on board of the crazy shit that happened in 2 minutes. 675 points in 2 minutes. And then once it enters there, it blasts off. What is it doing? Taking out all these highs over here. All these highs over here to the left. Right? That's exactly what it does. Takes out all those highs to the left. Actually goes further, right? Goes insane. Go parabolic. Right? And after that, that's insider move. That's insider Donald Trump price action right there. And after that, everybody was caught chasing it, right? A lot of people was like, oh shit, I want to chase the market. I want to chase the market. And then look what they do to the market. Y'all tell me in the chat, what do we define this as, right? What after it goes up, look how they set them up, right? Everybody's in there chasing it. Well, I need to go long. And some people trying to go short. I actually went short. I'll show you my setup, but I wasn't looking for longs. I didn't give a damn about the longs. Dusty, yes, it went into high resistance. So everybody that was trying to chase this, right? A lot of retail traders, a lot of people trying to chase it, trading the momentum. They got caught in all of this right here, the back and forth, right? Even some of them got stopped out on these deep retracements. Whole time I'm waiting for, look over to the left, right? Whole time I'm waiting for this setup right here. Look over to the left. See these swing highs right here? I'm gonna highlight that, label that, drag it all the way out to the right. Got this high right here as well. Drag that out to the right. These highs over here. Y'all tell me in chat, what kind of highs are those? Buy side liquidity or sell side liquidity? So while they manipulate the move up, right? To be honest, let me tell y'all, they put their, the smart money, Donald Trump and them, they was in on the rally up, but they took profits. And what they're doing is they were setting their positions for the sell, the short. They're setting their positions for the short. Yes, Alicia, rug pull, yep. So when it goes up to take out this buy side up here, right? I'm getting in on this short opportunity, right? I get in, take out liquidity. Let me hide this. Take out liquidity at the top. And I got people that can vouch for this. You know, we do it in a group setting. So take out liquidity, we drop. Y'all tell me in the chat, what is this candle right here? Who's going to get it right? This candle right here. Who's going to get it right? Who's going to get that candle right? What kind of candle is that, y'all? Who knows? Shep, bearish order block? Yep, Shep, you're right. There's a bearish order block in there. If you want to refer to the bearish order block, Shep, go right ahead. You can do that. But what I'm referring to is I'm referring to this BISI that becomes an inversion. So we trade below it, right? We trade down through it. We cut through it. We trade right back into it. Look at the midpoint of the SIBI or the inversion gap. The inversion gap. Trade right back into it. You enter right there. And when I'm trading down, I'm already knowing this market is manipulated. So when I'm trading down, I'm looking to get out at these lows in here. So you see this BISI right here? I'm looking to get out right here. See these lows? That's liquidity to me. That's liquidity. You get out right there. Boom, just like that. How many points does that offer? Let's say you enter at the midpoint of this inversion fair value gap and you get out right there. That's a 226 point run. It might not look like it, but yes, that's a 27 point run. Let's pull out your calculator. If that's a mini, you can trade minis and micros. Let's say that's a mini. It's $20 per point. 20 times 227. Oh, that's about $4,500 right there. Let's say you trade the minis, which is $2 per point. 2 times 227. That's a $454 move, right? So you can win regardless. An extra $454 in your pocket every day. You know, who gonna complain about that, right? You done pay for groceries for the week or the next 2 weeks, depending, you know, on your situation. But yeah, just like that, even though the market was bullish, still could take opportunity in there, right? After we take out this low right here, the market, what does it want to do? It wants to trade right back into inversion SIBI. Boom, just like that. Inversion fair value gap. It trades right back into it. If you want to use this order block, which is the opening price, you can use that. I choose to use the inversion, trade right back into it. And guess what? You get a second opportunity to do the same thing. From entry down to low right there. Boom. That's another 250 points. That's back-to-back $250 moves right there. So if you was trading minis, the first trade was $4,000. The second trade would have been $4,000. There you go. $8,000 on a day that was bullish. $8,000 on a day that was bullish, right? So after that, I'm done, right? I'll just stop for the day because this market eventually goes into this crazy chop fest. But guess what? This swing high right here down to this swing low. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you what that is. Swing high down to this swing low right there. That's a daily range. And what I'm gonna do is it goes into consolidation for a few hours, right? And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag that out over to the right. Drag it out all the way to the right, right? And it just ranges inside of this range, goes up to premium. Guess where it trades right back to? That same inversion fair value gap. Drag it all the way to the right. Gives you multiple entries to get in, short it. Every time it shorts, where am I getting out at? Start getting out at the lows, right? So you see these lows in here. You want to get out at those lows right there for scalps. Because look, if you enter at the midpoint right here and you get out right there, guess what? That's 100 points, right? What's 20 times 100? 20 times 100. Huh? That's $2,000 just like that. Another $2,000 just like that. That's considered like a little small scalp. Let's say you hold it. What are you holding for? Let's say you hold it down for these lows right in here. You see this low? Well, let's just keep adding on to the points, right? So let's say you enter at the midpoint down to this low right here. Guess what? That's 162 points. What if you hold it for these lows in here, right? Well, guess what? You're going to be racking up more points because you're looking to scale out at liquidity right there. That's an extra 255, a 255 points. So you take 20 times 255. That's $5,100 just like that on a day that was bullish. On the freaking day that was bullish. And it trades back up again. Drops down right there. That's 345 points. Does it matter? Does it matter that you missed this right here? When they offered about 4 or 5 different opportunities to short the market, right? Does it matter? Yeah, 2 candles printed 670 points, but there's many micro scalps in here that you could have took, and that it could have easily equaled up to this long that ran up, right? So yeah, if y'all just joined, to smash that like button, subscribe. I appreciate you joining. Teaching technical analysis, going over the headlines, some news events. All right, so that was the manipulation on Monday. Now let's go to hear about the manipulation. Let's go see if they reported on this, right? Let's see. Trump manipulation. Let's see what they got to say. Let's see what the headlines got to say. Well, let's see what some people got to say. TikTok rants.
We have some news right now. Donald Trump is actively manipulating the stock market and the global oil market with his statements. And Most media won't call it out, but I need to. Take just this morning at around 7 a.m., Donald Trump put out a statement saying that the United States will no longer bomb Iran's power plants and will give a 5-day reprieve for so-called negotiations. Within minutes, the stock market rose, the oil market started to tumble. Then Iran state media came out and said, we know nothing about these negotiations. We don't know what Donald Trump is talking about. And the stock market fell. And now, hours later, the stock market is rising again and oil markets are tumbling again because Donald Trump is doubling down, tripling down on this idea that the United States has been in contact with Iran, is no longer bombing Iran, et cetera, et cetera. Surprising a lot of folks worldwide, by the way. He did this with tariffs. He's now doing this with oil and the stock market. The stock market was falling. Oil prices were rising. Americans were suffering. So he just says something to manipulate the market to change that. Subscribe to support independent media. Link in bio at my Substack. Follow for more.
And yeah, like I said, Trump he's not in power. You know, he's going to take the blame, right? He's going to be the one that's like taking the fall, right? Or Trump's Iran lies market manipulation. I'm not going to play his video, but yeah, y'all get the point. Y'all get the point. And it is inside of market manipulation going on. A whole lot of it, right? Whole lot of it. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Just consolidating, not much going on. Let's look at a 3-month. Bitcoin is just consolidating. It's at a pivotal. If you go out to the 12-month on your chart, right? If you go out to the 12-month on your chart, which is a 12-month candle, which is a full year, you're going to see this BISI in here, which I wasn't accounting for this in the past, but now I'm accounting for it because it's kind of significant to me. BISI, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency on the 12-month. Right, so this is they're holding it inside of this fair value gap, and they can hold it for as long as they want to, but they are offering a discount for a Bitcoin right now at this moment. Right, so there you go, 12-month discount. I mean, I don't know too many people that can afford 70 grand Bitcoin. So let's look at XRP. Same thing on XRP. You want to come out to the 12-month. Get a super zoomed out perspective. It's kind of funny how all these markets are kind of like aligned together. You know, they're not, they're all doing similar things. But if you take this right here, 12-month time frame for XRP, you just missed the boat on discount. You might jump in there, but you missed the boat on the discount. There goes a 12-month BISI right there for XRP. And it's currently trading at 141. But when it did go down to the midpoint of this BISI, it traded down to $1.11. So you might have just missed it, right? You just might have missed it for XRP. What else? What I want to look at? I looked at gold. I looked at silver. A lot of these things, man, it's about putting in the time, putting in the work, right? Putting in the time, putting in the work. I primarily, throughout the week, I'm focused on my market, which is the NASDAQ. Let me pull up the daily on the NASDAQ for y'all in my Discord. So what I'm looking at right now on the NASDAQ is consolidating. If you go out to the weekly, right? On a weekly time frame, you got a weekly volume imbalance that you must highlight if you're looking at the NASDAQ futures contract for the month of June, right? Weekly volume imbalance, we have already traded into this. I'm very bearish on the stock market, so we already traded into this so far this week. Right, you want to have that reference. Go down to the daily. When you transpose it down to the daily, well, just yesterday we had an inside range day. Whenever we have an inside range day, y'all remember what I tell you? Whenever we have a day where the candle is inside the previous day's candle, it's not trying to break out. That's an inside range day. We can expect some type of market movement the following day, the next session. So I'm anticipating some major movement here shortly with the NASDAQ, right? Day by day, right? So we already traded these two up close candles. We traded into this on the daily and we rejected. So all I'm doing is looking for shorting opportunities, right? And I think we can come down, take out some of these lows down here, drop down into this level right here, which is on the monthly time frame. All right, smash that like button, y'all. Subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button, subscribe. Is there anything y'all want me to take a peek at? Right? Anything y'all want me to look at? Y'all let me know in the chat. I'll take a quick look at it. In the meantime, I'm going to come over here to X, right? Let's see some let's get some commentary going for X, right? A whole bunch of shit going on. Let's get some market commentary. A whole lot of stuff going on. Dusty, M2K. Let's go look at it, Dusty. M2K, right? M2K. Let's go look at it. And it's probably doing the same thing as everything else. M2K. Actually, M2K is kind of bullish right now. I don't like this price action. This is a daily. Got to the weekly. Okay, it makes more sense now. On the weekly time frame for M2K, even though it's in a tight range, when it trades up, what is it trading into? Y'all in the chat, what is that right there? What is it trading into? These two candles right here. It's obvious as hell, but what has it traded into for M2K, which is the E-mini Russell, right? E-mini Russell. What is that right there on the weekly time frame? This shit applies to all markets. Yes, suspension block. Trade into it, right? But when we trade it down into this BISI. So let me highlight that BISI on the sell side right there. So this is ambiguous, right? It's neutral. It's 50-50. I'm on the weekly, let's go back 20 weeks, which would be right there, right? 20-week range. So the range will be from this swing low up to that swing high. And we need to kind of get a picture of where we at right now. Are we in a premium or are we in a discount? Well, let's measure the range. And this is a 20-week. So when we pull out the 20-week, right, you can better define where we at in the range. So y'all in the chat, are we in a premium or are we in a discount for the E-mini Russell? Right? I will be looking to short this. I'll be looking to get ready to short this because it's at a premium. And we took out previous week's high. Yes, Dorelli and Dusty, premium. So we took out previous week's highs. All right, swept these highs right there. And we haven't really had a reaction. These markers are waiting for some type of reaction, right? We're waiting for some type of reaction and we haven't gotten it yet. So these markers are being staged. And when they go, they're going to be very volatile. Dusty, I short right now M2K. Be careful, Dusty. Be careful. I don't like how this daily. I don't like how is this high resistance or low resistance? Y'all let me know in the chat. On this daily time frame, is this high resistance or is it low resistance price action? Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all joining. Subscribe. Yes, Dusty, high resistance. So whenever it's high resistance, right, you got to be careful. You got to be real nimble because you can get hurt. I don't like nothing about this price action right here in this market, right? Let me get a 20-day range. So what I do is I go on the current candle, go back 20 days. I like to use my ruler because it speeds it up for me. Doing it by hand sucks. So the 20-day range will be from this swing high right there to these lows in here. And that'll give you a dealing range. Swing high down to these lows right there. It's currently in a premium. And it's kind of just stalling out right now. So it's not clean at all. High resistance price action. You can get liquidated. You can get effed up in this market if it's high resistance. The NASDAQ, the S&P, and these other markets, way better, way cleaner right now. All right, so that's that. Anything else y'all want me to cover, right? I'm not gonna hold y'all all night. I just wanted to get a little interaction going on. This is pretty much like a Tuesday review. The week, we still got a long week ahead of us and many things can occur within these next few days. So it's just Tuesday. I'm not gonna be too much a burden on y'all. I just need y'all to subscribe and hit that like button though. Subscribe, share the video. Let's come over to X. I pretty much covered all the major markets, right? I didn't go over treasuries today. Went over Bitcoin and XRP, right? The New World Order UN Agenda 2030 mission goals. So let's see about this right here. So the New World Order mission goals by Agenda 2030, one world government, right? They want a one world government. They want to end of nations, which that might be possible. One world army, one world police force, end of family unit. They're doing a good job at that. One world central bank, one world cashless currency, end of all poverty and end of all private property, world depopulation and fertility control, end of home and car ownership. See, all this shit is happening right in front of our eyes, but we still downplay like there's no agenda 2030, right? We just living on, paying them taxes. We just want to be happy, which we should. You deserve to be happy, but you know, we sit here as a society and ignore all this shit, right? These same people are X-Files, right? They're still X-Files. Mandatory multiple vaccines yearly. Universal austerity income. Social media digital ID. Damn. Microchip for health, shopping, and travel. Damn. You see what they doing at the airports, right? You already seen what they doing with the health, right? And then the money, right? You can't even shop nowadays in 2026 without having to make it stretch. Implementation of Chinese social credit system. Government raised children. All businesses run by state. End of non-essential air travel. Yep, there's going to come a day where the travel is only going to be exclusive to the elites. If you're not an essential, ain't no more taking trips like y'all used to do, right? In the name of health, in the name of a health crisis. Because we didn't listen during the pandemic. We were traveling and moving around, but they said they had enough. So end of travel, right? Unless you're essential. So if you work or something, there's no more travel. Humans concentrated into 15-minute zones. End of private farms and vegetable gardens. End of animal ownership. Ban all natural medicines. Damn, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't. There's no way they can ban it, because guess what? The Most High ain't gonna let them ban it, because that shit is coming from the earth, and guess what? They can't play God. AI courts. Now that's gonna be scary right there. When they have the AI courts, when they remove the human from decision making, and that AI is gonna determine your faith. But it's all gonna be programmed based on their thinking though. So it might as well be them. They just don't want to come to work. They just don't want to come to work. Limited access to wild spaces. End of fossil fuels and modern conveniences. That is Agenda 2030. I bet if I click on this, it gets deep. Sometimes you click on the post, the rabbit hole goes deep, right? And I'm not gonna go too deep down the rabbit hole, but you know what I'm saying. Energy lockdowns coming in Cuba. So that's some bad karma if they do. Cuba has no power right now, so it's pitch black in Cuba, right? They probably got a generator or two, but it's pitch black in Cuba. Pray for Cuba. Like I said earlier, 600 billion wiped out of the stock market. Let's see, Larry Finke. You know what I'm saying? Digital transformation. I don't have time. People like Larry's getting old, man. He really getting old. He aging bad too, real quick. That's them demons. Let's see. Let's see right quick. Let's play this.
I really hope that people understand that Trump is pulling a taco right now with Iran when it comes to his 48 hours. Hey, if you don't open up the Strait of Hormuz, we're going to bomb your nuclear facilities. And the reason why he's pulling a taco is because straight up, the markets were in absolute meltdown last night. The credit markets, the private credit markets are absolutely imploding. And if people aren't paying attention to it, you're watching the stock market just flinch a little bit and it just completely craters gold and silver, crypto, and so many other assets. The truth is the bond market is telling you exactly what's coming. Higher inflation. It doesn't matter if oil miraculously collapsed back down to where it was a month ago. The price at the pump is going to be higher, regardless of what you think or why. Things are bad in our economy, and Trump's freaking out because he went after a country that wants to fight. And that fight is going to cost Americans higher prices at the pump, higher prices at the grocery store, and much higher prices all around as people are getting laid off due to the increase in AI innovation and so many other things. People need to wake up. Cash is not trash during these times. Smart people have been unloading their positions for years now and are ready to pounce. Hopefully you're one of them. All right. With that being said, the Economic Ninja is that.
So he spoke on the bonds market, right? He spoke on the treasury market. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and pull up the treasury market. Let's go ahead and pull that up. So right here now on the left side of my screen, I got the 10-year Treasury. You can see they've been in free fall. You know, whenever the Treasury comes lower, inflation goes higher, right? So the Treasuries are selling off. So they're printing money, clearly. And this is the 10-year right here. I'm looking at the 30-year. The 30-year has been selling off for the past 1, 2, 3 weeks, right? And I don't think it's done. I think the Treasuries want to come down to these lows. And yeah, man, I think he's right about whatever, regardless of what oil does, this is the economy right here. If you don't know, the Treasury market is the system. It is the debt system. Everything is based around debt. This is the system. So liquidity below the market, right? And if it comes down there, the dollar's going to go gain strength. And that's just going to mean higher inflation. They might have to tighten the interest rates, and that means money's going to be hard to borrow. So we just living, it's just a game, y'all. It's just a game. It's the matrix, right? We living in the matrix. So this is the Treasury market, right? Watch that. That's like the prime. That's one of the main markets that you got to watch is the Treasury markets, Treasury bonds, the yields, and the currencies, because those markets impact every other market out there on the market. All right, so let's come back over to X. I'm not gonna hold y'all too much longer. Let's see what they got, what they talking about. Let's see. I feel like I've heard enough with the gas prices. Heard a whole lot about the gas prices. But let's see what this gentleman got to say right here.
In the next 24 hours, the world as we know it will likely change. If you're watching this video right now, I'd like you to reshare it. I want everyone, we need to get this out, because we're living in a time right now that we've never seen before, not just in America, but this is a global crisis that we're getting ready to fall into. It is all pre-planned. It was designed this way. The things that are going on in Cuba, the things that are going on in Iran, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, they're all connected. Every bit of this stuff is connected. The war in Ukraine, Russia, every bit of this is connected. I want you to see this, okay? Because they're not fighting a regular war. What happened in Cuba, that was a test. The power grid failing due to the fact that they didn't have oil and gas, that is a test. And it worked. So now, I want you to look at what's going on in Iran right now and the surrounding areas in the Middle East. Because they're no longer bombing facilities with the military personnel. Now they're targeting oil and gas, petroleum products, liquid natural gas products. And it's not just the Iranians doing it, it's everyone doing it. UAE, Iraq, everybody. They're bombing back and forth, and they're not hitting military targets, they're hitting strategic economical targets. Oil fields, natural gas facilities. And now Donald Trump has given us this 48-hour cutoff, which ends tonight. He said if you don't open up the Strait of Hormuz, which 30% of our Earth's resources come through the Strait of Hormuz, 30%, 1 in 3. Think about that for a minute. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. He said that in the next 48 hours, if they don't open up the Strait of Hormuz, and they're not going to open it up, they've already said they're not going to, then he's going to bomb their electrical facilities, their power plants, starting with the biggest one first. This is a crisis, an economical crisis on the citizens of the world. And what did they reply with? You do that, we're going to blow up your water facilities. It's back and forth. It's an economical crisis that will send us into a famine, a worldwide famine, and it has been pre-planned and designed for one purpose. One purpose only. These people right now, they are working together in order to drive us into a one world government. This is the Great Reset, which was always just a conspiracy until we see it coming to pass. It's the Great Reset. Open your eyes, folks. This is biblical. Biblical. The only thing we can do right now is trust God, bro. That's it. We fall on our faces. According in accordance with 2 Chronicles 7:14. We fall on our faces and we plead with God to have mercy on us and save our land. That is our only hope right now. This is not a fear-mongering video. If you do not know Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, now is the time. Today is the day of salvation, because we don't have much time on this earth left. Wake up and open your eyes, folks. We're destroying our earth's resources, things that we need for farming, things that we need for food and vegetation. Pay attention to what's going on. This is a warning to the world. Please repost this video. I love y'all, man. May God save our world.
Yeah, man, that gentleman right there, he very passionate about this, right? You know, but unfortunately, it ain't gonna get through to so many people, right? Some people got good intentions out here. Check it out, my crypto people, crypto addicts, you know, three crypto addicts looking at each other, you know. That's how it is out here, man. When you've been in crypto for damn near 10 years, that's the type of eyes you have, right? So whenever you see somebody with those eyes and they talking about crypto, they in too deep. They been in too deep. Make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe if y'all are brand new. Look at the TSA, man. They already on the, I mean, not the TSA. ICE. They already on the move in the airport, running around and shit. You know, look. Uh-oh. Let's play it. They don't want to be on camera. They don't want to be on camera. It's part of their job, though. Don't be an ice. Looking at the ICE agents, people, ICE agents. They're at the airports, and they trying to be off camera, but the media is filming them. The media is filming them. Well, they can blame Trump for that, right? You know, they can blame for Trump for putting them at the airports. Let's see what else. Play this video.
When it comes to thinking about what happened in 2020 and comparing it a little bit to what's happening right now, there are some things to consider, right? So what we saw in 2020 was a massive demand shock, a massive negative demand shock. People were first forced to stay home. First, you can't go anywhere. And when that happens, you've now taken the demand way down, right? Demand for oil, demand for transportation, demand for everything, right? At that point, when the demand for oil goes down, prices for everything, right? Demand for everything is kind of coming down. And so, okay, so there's not as much economic activity going on. You've got this demand shock because people first aren't going out. They're not spending money. They're not going anywhere. And so there's less money coming around in circulation. So what can you do to improve a demand shock, a negative demand shock situation? You can give people money, right? Because a lot of people can't work in that time either, right? So there's just, not only is there not money flowing, there's no money that people have. People don't have money. So what they do, they gave people money, print money, literal handouts to people to try to improve the demand shock, the negative demand shock. So now you artificially stripped all the demand out of the economy, and then you hand them money, print money, create debt to go and hand it back to them so that they can spend again. Now, when you had that, once again, that negative demand shock, but supply stays the same, then you have a massive drop in price levels. Oil in that situation went negative. I don't know if you missed that, but there was a moment where oil went negative. Okay, let me just go ahead and actually pull it up for you guys, because this is an important thing to try to illustrate. So oil goes negative in 2020 because of this massive pullback in demand. And at that moment, right? Wow, this is such an incredible thing to actually see on the charts. So oil at that time, this is the crude oil futures. Okay, so this was February 2020, March 2020, and then
My bad, y'all. My bad. Appreciate it, man. My bad. So what I was saying, right? I didn't want to go over the guy I was playing. I said I can take it from there because he was talking about the oil chart. My bad. My apologies. But I didn't realize, check it out. I didn't realize in 2020 that oil went to 1 penny. I'm looking at the chart. And I was saying like the pandemic was a crazy year. It was so much going on that I don't even remember that oil went to 1 penny. And I was saying, what the hell was that about? And of course it was the pandemic, but it literally went to 1 penny or negative. I'm sure it went to negative on some charts, but it went to 1 penny in April of 2020. And then from 1 penny for the next few years, it shot up to about 129. Now, this right here, this is the perfect freaking example, right? This is the perfect example. This is the perfect example for my crypto people right here, right? Let's put it in perspective, and I'm gonna compare a chart. Now let's do a pop quiz. Let's see how dedicated some of y'all are, right? Which asset is more important right now? Well, which asset has more value? Is it the oil market or is it XRP or Bitcoin? Which asset class or which market has more value, more significance over the economy right now, right? And even in the past, right? Right now, is it crypto when we talking about XRP and Bitcoin, or is it oil? Shep, you said oil. Dusty, oil. AWB. Yeah, I remember when oil went to 1 cent. It was wild. Imagine loading up on oil then. Yeah, man. AWB. They was in it in 2020. They rolled it all the way up to 2022. They rolled that up for 2 years. Right? But I'm about to make a point here with my crypto community, right? My crypto community. I'm about to make a point about shit that makes me nervous, right? If they can do this with oil. Shep, you said oil? Yeah, for sure. Look, they dropped oil down, and look when they dropped it down, look at these old lows down here in the market. See these old lows that you probably think, oh, they'll never refer back to these lows, right? These lows are like $9 per barrel, and this chart goes back to 1986, right? The data that I have on this goes back to 1986, right? So look at these old lows in the market, sell side liquidity. And when I proposed the question, right, I asked y'all that question, which market has more value and like influence over the economy, I would say oil, because oil makes the entire system go round, right? Everything is made from oil byproducts. Everything has oil in it, some type of oil product, right? So if oil stops like it is right now, it's currently being disrupted, the global economy will go in the dark. The global economy will shut down and go dark, right? Unless we start using free energy, which they're not trying to release that type of shit. We're not trying to use free energy. They're not going to let us have the free energy out here. So to me, oil is the more important commodity compared to crypto. But this is my point right here. If you think for 1 minute, if they can pull this in the oil market where they drop oil, first of all, the all-time high prior to it going to zero was $147 a barrel. $147 a barrel. If you don't think it can go from 147 all the way down below zero or 1 penny, what makes you think if I come over to this chart right here, which is XRP, right? Let's go down to the weekly. And I don't want to put out no fear. I don't want to put out no fear, nothing. If they can do that in oil, and it just dawned on me, if they can do that in oil, well, damn, and I got an example of it. What makes you think they won't come and do this right here in this market right here that we so beloved, right? We so beloved crypto, right? We so beloved crypto, and we all can agree that crypto doesn't have the same value as oil. Crypto doesn't have the same value as oil. Crypto don't make the world go round, right? It can help the world go round, but it doesn't make the world go round. Oil makes the world go round until we kind of shift our societal way of thinking and get off of oil, stop being dependent on oil, and we start thinking about other energy sources that can free us, right? But if y'all don't think that for 1 minute they can't come down here and clear out these lows below the market where there are pending orders, they have orders down here, and these orders for XRP are down at 27 cents. And if they want to get really crazy, they can drop it down to this level right here, around about 11 pennies. If they can take oil down to 1 penny, what makes you think they can't do it in crypto? All right. What makes you think they can't do it in Bitcoin? What makes you think they can't do it? I just showed you an example of it. They did it to oil recently during the pandemic. During the pandemic, they did it to oil. They took it to 1 penny. I'm like, where the hell was I at? Because I don't recall that, but it went to 1 freaking penny. Right? So again, Bitcoin, there's a lot of lows in here that they can trigger, right? They can come down and trigger a lot of these lows in here. They don't have to, but you better believe they're in the market, right? A lot of lows out here below the market. Bitcoin, 15,000. Some people say to zero. Some people say zero. So let's say they come down here to this low right here. Back in that was in 2020. In 2020, Bitcoin was at $4,000. Bro, Bitcoin was at $4,000 in 2020. Is there some type of dystopian illusion that we going in 2020, which was 6 years ago? It don't even seem like it. Damn, it seemed like it was like 3 years ago. But anyway, damn. Yeah, man, time is flying. God bless everybody, bro. Time is flying. It just dawned on me, right? I'm getting older. Definitely just dawned on me. I was just, damn, bro, time is flying. But I remember all of this. $4,000 in 2020. And they can come back and come test all these levels in here. I just showed you what it looked like in oil. AWB, what's crazy, when oil dropped that low, people didn't even want to buy it. Oh man, could you imagine, AWB? Could you imagine? Free. We can't, that's the other thing. We can't go buy barrels of oil and shit and like, yeah, I'm gonna store this in my fucking house. The only way we can buy it is the paper, right? It's not like gold or silver, where if gold or silver did that, oh yeah, we'll be making a killing. But oil, we can't store oil, right? We can't store the oil, but it'd be nice if we could go buy a couple barrels of oil and shit for 1 penny. Who bought that, bro? Like, who bought that? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Who the hell bought oil at that price? Right? You already know the market makers did. They dropped it down to 1 penny and then sent it up. So my point is with this, y'all, for my crypto people, we not out the woods, bro. They can liquidate these markets. And if they can do it in oil, they can do it in any market. And oil is one of the number one commodities on the earth that we depend on, right? On the earth, on the planet. Nothing move. You can't fly without oil. You can't ship supplies and goods without oil. You can't make products without oil. You can't cook food without oil. You can, but you know what I mean. In modern society, they got all these cooking oils and shit. It comes from oil. So yeah. Let me see, man. That's it. I love to kick it with y'all all night, man. But I'm not gonna hold y'all all night. I know some of y'all gotta get to work. Everybody gotta work tomorrow. Let me see. Yeah, man. This is TikTok right here. I don't want to go. I'm still trying to learn TikTok, how to dive into the algorithm and the search engine. Hey, y'all, where this guy at right here, man? Is he still around? I'm gonna play him right quick.
All right, my good people. It's your boy Cornelius Jones. Come on in the room. We're gonna have a great conversation today, as always. And today we are going to discuss: was this whole thing staged? I mean, the whole thing. I mean, from the lawsuit to finally the banks arguing back and forth, the seeming, attack against crypto and XRP. Was this whole thing just a facade? We're going to answer that question. I really don't have a strong opinion on the matter. I think there's some truth to that. However, I want to read a post that is very interesting because I know a lot of people have this mindset. And I want to read a post from a person that is very well respected in the XRP community who does have this mindset. And I want to read his post. Let's get to the post, people. Here's what he says. This is a post from Versan from Black Swan Capitalist. Okay. Versan from Black Swan Capitalist. This is what he had to say concerning the news that the banks and the fintech companies have come to what do they call it? A conditional agreement? Not a conditional agreement. I forget what the word was, but it's an agreement. Okay. It's the agreement that we needed so this thing can move forward. All right. It's the agreement that we needed for this to move forward. And so in light of this, here's what he had to say. He says, let me be very clear about what's happening with crypto legislation right now. What you're watching is not breaking news. The conclusion was always inevitable. The White House and the Senate didn't just suddenly figure this out. They aligned on this direction a long time ago. What you're seeing now is the rollout, a controlled, gradual disclosure of a system that's already been decided behind the scenes. Most people are reacting to headlines like it's unfolding in real time. It's not. This is staged, structured, timed. The real game isn't the decision. It's how the decision is introduced to the public. And while everyone debates narratives, the framework is already being built. The winners, the infrastructure, the rails, those have been positioned for years. The real financial architecture of the future financial system is being built on networks like Ripple and Stellar, ORG, XRP, and XLM. Tokenization isn't just about new technology. It's a complete restructuring of ownership, settlement, and liquidity. Stocks, assets, even currencies are being tokenized. When everything becomes tokenized, control shifts to the protocols that move and settle that value. Oh, I love how we put that. I spoke in a previous video some weeks ago when we were talking about the value is in the protocol, right? Remember that video a few weeks ago if you saw that? And we were talking about how the movement and settlement of XRP is going to drive value through the protocol that directly solves these pain point problems that we're having with settlement, right? We talked about that. Continuing reading. That's where the real power and wealth will consolidate, not in the hands of the masses, not in fiat, but in the infrastructure itself, the rails, the bridges, the liquidity layer. This is why I've been saying it all along. Protocol ownership is the gateway to the new financial system. If you own the protocols that settle value, you're positioned within the system itself. You become part of the new wealth class.
Now we're in.
All right, I had to cut his water short. Y'all get it. You know, we heard it. You know what I'm saying? How many times y'all heard that from the crypto? You know, not cutting his water short. Wise man, but we heard it. You know what I'm saying? We heard it. You know what I'm saying? Who's to say? You know what I'm saying? Who's to say, right? We done heard it. So, all right, man. I think that's going to be it, right? I think that's going to be it. Let me check my market one more time, the NASDAQ, because I'm preparing for this. I'm preparing. Market real sloppy, right? Real choppy over here on the right. Lower time frame intraday. Right, I'm waiting for midnight. It's already, oh, y'all in the chat. Y'all in the Discord. It's already showing weakness. It's already showing some sign of weakness. Come over here on the daily. Come down here to the daily over here on the left. You can see it setting up, right? I think it's setting up pretty good. Traded up here into this wick, right? You can also measure yesterday's wick, which is today. Traded up into that real good. And to me, it's starting to show a little weakness. Let me come down right here, 15 minutes, 5 minute. 5 minute time frame, zoom in. Small little range right here, high to low. 5 minute range. Let me highlight that. Swing high down to that swing low right there. Go down to a 1 minute. 1 minute time frame. Trade it into that order block right there. Right there. I should short that. Let me put a little practice trade on. One second. Let me see. See how it trades into that order block. Live price action, right? You got to learn how to tape read. Got to learn how to tape read the market. Trades into that bearish order block right there. What time is it? About to be 10:30 p.m. Time of day is really important. I think I want to short that. Fuck it. 5 micros on. Stop loss right here. See if we can come down right here. If I look at a range right quick, I'm probably too tight of a range. I'm looking at this swing high down to that swing low right there. Definitely on the premium side of this 1 minute range. What I shorted in, small little Sibby right here. Too small for my liking, but shorted in that. See if it comes up to, oh, we took out liquidity. See, I didn't see that. We dropped down, took out liquidity. So let me, I damn near want to get out of that right there. You look over here to the left, we took out the liquidity. So it could pop back up higher again. Or we're gonna run lower. But again, I'm gonna monitor this. I'm not gonna sit in the. I'm not gonna hold y'all too much longer. Again, if y'all haven't tapped into the Patreon, y'all come over here, subscribe to the Patreon, get some of this insight, get some of my lessons, sign up to the mentorship if y'all want private coaching. Also, y'all come over here, tap in with me on X. All right, trying to be more active on X. I appreciate if y'all come over and tap in with me. This was just a Tuesday update on the market. You know, nothing too much. It's real quiet right now in the market. It's nothing really going on. So it's only Tuesday. So we're going to go pretty much wait for, you know, probably tomorrow to see more action and getting into more the end of the week to see better price action. The rally, when you're out running your errands and get caught up in some talk with a stranger and they ask you, what do you do for a living? Do you tell them you're a day trader or something else? Yeah, I don't tell nobody I do this. right? It's nobody. It's crazy because like you walk out in society, you do this, but when you're in the public eye, right? When you're in society, don't nobody know what you do. Nobody cares. Neither. Nobody cares about this or interested, right? I don't just be like, oh, I'm a day trader. I just if people ask, I'm fucking, I tell them I'm in tech or something. I don't really lead with this right here. Because you're going to find out, like, you don't want to lead as this day trader person in real life. You can, you know what I'm saying? But I don't lead with this. This is something that's personal to me, right? This is something that I keep to myself unless I'm on YouTube with y'all or I'm in a private community with my people. But as far as like bragging or walking around with my chest out, I'm a day trader, I can do this and that. No, I don't do this. I don't do that. I kind of try to keep this real private. Because, and real private and exclusive. If you want to find me, you want to figure out what I do, you find me online and we can go from there, right? So I don't really keep it. I don't do too much noise with this. Especially like when you trying to learn this. Let's say y'all trying to learn this, right? In the beginning, don't tell nobody about this. You're going to regret it. People going to hate on you. People going to hate that you're even doing this. People going to kind of get in your head about, oh, that day shit. I heard about that shit. That shit don't work. Okay. People do it for a reason, right? There's people that do it full time for a reason. But if you let people into your business, it'll go to your head, right? It'll kind of like fuck up your confidence. This is something you want to pursue, and don't let nobody say otherwise. It's you. It's pretty much you determining what you want to do, right? Don't let nobody in your head to try to get you up out of your goals and your passions in life. That goes for everything. So this is right here, you quietly build the skill set, you quietly develop yourself, right? Let me see this trade right here, trading into this order block. But with this skill set, you want to be quiet with it in the beginning, and then over time, right? Let's say you in 4, 5, 6 years, and you done been doing this for 4 to 5, 6 years, and now it's kind of showing like you do it. It's really nothing to talk about at that point. You've been doing it for a number of time, a decent amount of time. I would say 5 years in, you've been doing it for a decent amount of time, and it's like second nature for you. And it's really nothing to talk about, right? But it's going to start showing as well. Like people going to start, people around you. You got to look, you might be buying some nice things, or it's just like money kind of becomes numb, right? Even if you work a job, it's like, I'm not even bothered by nothing. It does something mentally to you where it kind of like takes some pressure off you, and it tricks your mind like, man, I can go do this at any time I want to, right? I got this ability where I can go print money when it's time, when it's available to me. So money, this right here distorts your reality when it comes to money. I'll say that. This right here will bend reality. Like your respect for money kind of like, you still respect money, but it's like, if you start doing this, you start becoming profitable, and you still work your job, it's going to be like, you're not having no respect for your job. Cause it's like, motherfucker, I just did this, and I'm working my job cause I want my pension, I want my 401k, but I'm doing this. And it's like, you kind of like lose sight of reality, because the money is fast and the money comes real quick, right? Once you know what you're doing. Let me read the chat. Later, Shep, Dorelli. Oh, nah, only if they ask. I hear you. You could almost just say you're retired. Now, I'm not even going to tell people I'm retired because I'm still young. So they're going to be like, what, you retired? I don't even need people. They're going to be like, you young, you fucking in your 30s and you retired. So I don't even need people understanding why I'm 30 and retired. I can't do that right there. Right. So I'm just going to play it like, this is what I'm going to tell them. What I'm going to tell them. I'm a data analyst. That's what you tell them, right? I'm a data analyst. They'll go for that though, right? People will go for that. I analyze data, right? I'm a data analyst, or I'm a technician. You technically are a technician when you start doing this skill set. You're a technician, right? So this right here is technical science. It's really work, right? So it's a lot more. I know I get on YouTube, y'all, but it's way more to what, behind the scenes with this. This a lot of times is entertaining and it's interesting, but you got to put in the work, right? You got to put in that fucking work. You got to sacrifice time. You got to sacrifice friends, family, all that shit if you really want this. And guess what? I really wanted this shit. So it's paying off. It's paying off. But make sure y'all subscribe, right? I kind of want to see my trade play out, right? I want to see this trade play out, right? It's in the premium. Traded into this bearish order block. And it's trying to creep down, right? And I'm just trying to get a little scalp in. Just trying to get a little scalp. All right, trying to get me a little scalpy in, which is from here to that low right there. That's 23 points. I got a whole YouTube course, 40 points a day. 40 points a day. Anybody can do 40 points a day. I'm just aiming for 23 points. A simple $220, $225. I ain't complaining. I take the 225. Right? But nah, I'm not gonna hold y'all too much longer. I'm not gonna sit on here all night. I got stuff to do. I know y'all got stuff to do. So I definitely appreciate y'all joining. Be on the lookout for the next live stream. If anything get exciting, I'm gonna pop right back up tomorrow or the next day. I'm gonna continue my free course online as well. Come over here. Go to my my channel. Go to my channel. And if y'all see this right here where it says courses 2026, if y'all haven't been through this, y'all come over and watch it. I'm going to continuously build on this. So I might do one tomorrow where it's just pure. I'm not really talking about the news and all that. It's just pure analysis and tools and concepts. So I'm trying to build on that. Got a lot going on. I'm trying to build my YouTube channel, right? I'm trying to build the YouTube channel. I'm trying to do it organically without having to pay for subscribers and shit like that. And trying to break through, right? So hopefully y'all are picking up. Hopefully y'all are learning. This is an educational channel as well. So once I'm done doing this, my educational content will be on here, right? It'll just be on here for people to be like, hey, I can go watch this. And it's years from now. That's kind of what I want to vision with this, where I kind of create this channel into an educational resource, right? For generations after me to come and watch it. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to do with this YouTube channel. Other than that, man, I appreciate y'all joining, right? Subscribe, share the video, go watch the content, sign up to the Patreon, and I'm going to get back with y'all on the next one. Peace out.